Hello guys, it's Rebecca. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an extraterrestrial contactee, a galactic channeler, a psychic medium, and I work in the Akashic Records, and my job is to help you along your spiritual journey. So many of you guys have been asking me about the Alien Cest, and I was apprehensive to make this video because what I have channeled has been contradictory to some of the other channelers out there. Part of that reason could be that we are looking at different timelines. It doesn't necessarily mean that a particular channeler is wrong. We could be looking at different timelines. We are all moving in and out of different timelines. So that could be part of the reason. Another reason could be that, and I have talked about this in the past, channelers are not receiving accurate information. There's a false narrative being pushed with certain channelers. I absolutely refuse to name anybody outright. I'm not engaging in any of that. So don't ask me to, because I'm not going to. I have looked at this several times, this information that I'm going to share today. And this is what resonates as truth and as high vibrational, accurate information for me. I strongly encourage you to use your own discernment. I am not going to entertain or engage in any discussion around this channeler said this and this channeler said that. This is what feels true and resonates and is accurate for me. You need to do the same for your truth. So, with Alien Cest, there is some discussion around him being responsible for the helicopter crash, and also his engagement with the United Nations and then other dark elitist groups. So I'm going to talk about how I see this. So I do see that he is a Pleiadian being. I did channel with him today, so I communicated directly with him today. He's a Pleiadian. His physical body, his Pleiadian body, was the body that was discovered with the egg-shaped craft that we have all seen. And his consciousness was not in stasis, but his physical body was in stasis. And it's really interesting because they show me exactly how he's able to do this energetically. So it's using energy to almost like pause the, I guess, degradation of the physical body. Very interesting. The consciousness was not frozen. His consciousness was off doing other things, being other places, non-physically, and also physically in other incarnations, parallel lives for his soul. But this is one particular lifetime here. And I do see him being in this stasis state for probably around 2,500, 3,000 years feels a little bit long. Years. So, and the plan here was that he was going to be found, the craft and his body were going to be found, and he was going to communicate what he wanted to communicate to the collective that found him. These are like deep state operatives. I think initially it wasn't this deep state collective that found him, but they immediately got themselves involved as soon as they realized that this craft had been discovered and this body had been discovered. His consciousness came back into the body and he was alive, and had discussions with them. When he completed his discussions with them there at the the ship craft retrieval site, he consciously chose to leave his body. This I've seen many, many times with Pleiadians. They don't have physical death, and this is true for other higher vibrational, multidimensional star beings. They don't have physical death. They consciously choose to leave the body. That's what happened. He left the body. I don't see him traveling anywhere with Americans or any of these elitist groups or these dark energy groups, these dark entities. I don't see him traveling anywhere to any kind of headquarters or anything like that. He said what he needed to say, that he wanted. Basically, the message was a push for accurate disclosure for humanity. He was an ambassador. He really wanted to help humanity, which is why he volunteered to do this in the first place. The energy around the interaction did not feel positive. The way that his message was received, they didn't like it. I don't think he would have done well had he chose to stay in his physical body. The helicopter crash, I don't see him involved in that at all. He is aware of it. What I channeled was that a particular organization, 2 letters Ultra, I don't want to get this video shadow banned, 2 letters from the alphabet Ultra, was responsible for this crash. There was a targeted individual on the helicopter that they wanted to unalive, and they were successful. And I asked, where did this story around, Sest being involved in all of that come from? There's a lot of complexities here, guys, when I look at this story, because I'm seeing timeline shifts and using information that was accurate on one timeline that's inaccurate on another timeline. Anyways, what I see is that they utilized, or they capitalized is probably the better term, the whole Sest story in order to create a false narrative around extraterrestrials. And this information was seeded into the collective, particularly with channelers or people who are intuitive and able to access that more higher level psychic realm information. Even Akashic records, people who can access the Akashic records, basically people who can access this information. And there are other beings who are also involved in pushing this false narrative. And the narrative really is that they want us to believe as a collective is that the aliens are not here to support us. Some are definitely not. But the discourse around disclosure that I have been sharing from the Galactic Federation and other star races, other galactic collectives, is a very different narrative than the elite groups want to be shared. They want the collective to continue to be in fear and confusion. And so that's tied into this message that we received around the helicopter. That's what I have seen. I looked at this several times from as many different angles as I possibly could to make sure this information was accurate. I spoke to several galactic beings that I am familiar with. I did consider more closely the concept of channelers accessing information on different timelines. So at the same point in time, but on different timelines, the events can look very different. And I do believe there is a very strong possibility that some channelers are looking at a timeline where Sest did not leave his physical body at the craft retrieval site and continued on into humanity for a period of time, working with groups like the United Nations and such. That is not the timeline I believe we are on. That is not the timeline that was shown to me. when I called in my guides that I've been working with for many years. So take that how you will. Things are not so black and white, guys. It's not this happened or it didn't. Like it doesn't work like that. And so what we have to do is we have to find resonance in truth within ourselves instead of going, I need to go run over here and see what she says about it. And I need to go run over here and see what she says about it or he says about it. The validation can be good. We like validation. I love when I hear other channelers channeling the same things that I'm channeling. I love that. It's great validation. A lot of us are stepping out or walking out on a limb here when we are channeling this information for the first time, when it's not hit the collective before, when it's new information. It takes a great degree of bravery, courage, and strength to do that. And so anybody who is doing that has all of my love and all of my support. Like I said before, it won't engage in the back and forth. I think that, okay, the guides are saying this is also an opportunity. They are like, we are aware that one channeler is going to say one thing that's really contradictory to another. They were anticipating this, and this gives the collective the opportunity to feel into their discernment, to feel into their resonance. So that is what I implore you to do. Let me see if there is anything else around this. The guides are just saying, open up your eyes, your minds, and your hearts, and you will know what is true. So I love each and every one of you so much. I'll be back soon with more updates. Keep your eyes on the skies. Everything is changing. It's a very exciting time to be alive. Happy Ascension.